It's all about the lineage, baby. Yeah. Now what y'all wanna be? FBA, ADOS, free men indigenous. We got shot callers, we got activists, we got politicians, we got lawyers for ya. But don't knock us for being great. Delineate, and now we're singing, hey. It's all about the lineage, baby. Yeah, baby. It's all about the lineage, baby. It's all about the lineage, baby. Oh Lord, it's all about the lineage, baby. Can't nobody take our pride. Can't nobody hold us down, no. We gotta keep on moving. They keep on moving the goalposts. Oh no, no. Broken alliance everywhere. Broken arrows in every spirit. Let's be very clear. We ain't letting up. We ain't getting up. It's our throne, we built it. It's our home. Take your shoes off. It's all about the lineage, baby. Oh no. It's all about the lineage, baby. Yeah. It's all about the lineage, baby. Oh no. It's all about the lineage, baby. Now what y'all wanna be? FBA, ADOS, free men indigenous. We got shot callers, we got activists, we got politicians, we got lawyers for ya. But don't knock us for being great. Delete it. Now we're seeing, hey, yeah. Can't nobody take a pride. Can't nobody hold us down, no. We gotta keep on moving. We keep on moving the goalposts. Oh no. Broken alliance everywhere. Broken arrows in every spear. Let's be very clear. We ain't letting up. We ain't getting up. It's our throne. We built it. It's our home. Take your shoes off. It's all about the lineage, baby. Oh no. It's all about the lineage, baby. Yeah. It's all about the lineage, baby. Oh no. It's all about the lineage, baby.
Yeah, I didn't know there was soul food in the UK. That is news to me. But why call it soul food? Why why everything, like everybody got their own version of what we did, but then say we don't have culture. It's like, but they still, which is the most craziest confusing thing, is that they still, well, we originated and don't even really change the name. They stole black. Now they're black Brits. They're really African Brits, but they stole black. Why not just say something else to call yourself Brits? Melanated African Brits fit perfect. J.J. Mars, Jersey Freedman, Monstar McFly, Black Feather Archery in the building. Grand Rising to all y'all. Yeah, why steal our terminologies outright? That's why we got to copyright and trademark things, to protect it. Now, soul food is in the UK. They got, well, let them explain it themselves. Wait, hold. Before they do that, this is still their channel right here. The same people that said, I guess they're like African Brits. So the same people that claim they got soul food there, they're acting like they're victims, Foundation Black Americans and Black Americans in general. So like they're not focused on Black Americans who call themselves FBAs, who know they're FBA. They're really speaking to 43 million. Okay. So listen to their logic against 43 million.
And I was like, what is going on? Another day I put a comment in the video And somebody was like, just because I was like, what is going on? Why are Black Americans like attacked? Someone had to come into my DMs and explain to me that there's a real hatred between Black Americans and Africans in America. I was like, we don't have that in the UK. Not that I know of. We don't have like Caribbeans hating Africans. We don't have that. Like in America, they just really don't. They're always on edge. And it's because they think that Africans look down on them.
So we see that consistently, right? Where tethers try to act like we have an issue with tethers that come to the country. All right. Check this out.
Why is it that Black Americans hate Africans?
Why is it that Black Americans hate Africans? Because I keep saying we don't even think about them at all in our daily lives. We don't cosplay as them. We don't sing their songs. We don't dress like them. Nothing about them do we that you can point to. We're thinking about them. Nothing. But in the reverse, you got African rappers, African drill. You know what I mean? It goes on and on and on. How they cosplay from us. So you would think if we would think about them, you would think we would borrow something from them.
I don't know, like from what I've heard, I guess annoyance that they feel like Black Africans come to the... I stopped the video right there because how do you ask what is between Africans and Black Americans and not have a Black American on your show? I
was just going to say that, family, I swear. And as I say, my slogan is they love to talk about us, but they hate to talk to us. They pretty much, when it's just themselves, they pretty much ask the question and then answer it themselves. Because their answer is never our answer. Like, no, we don't have anything against you guys. You guys, we're rent-free in your heads.
I despise this podcast. I despise it. I want to give you ladies a challenge, right? You want to get a microphone, you want to get a backdrop. Can you do 1 year, 12 months worth of content and keep our culture out your mouth?
Hell no, they can't do that. I got an easier challenge. Why don't you guys accept my invitation and pull up to FBA News and Updates and talk to me and let me speak on behalf of Foundation Black Americans and what issue, if at all, we have against Africans. Continent, African Caribbean, African Haitians, African Brits.
How are you a British show talking about Michelle Obama, talking about Black Americans, talking about VMAs?
Black culture is globally exported around the world, but Black American culture is globally exported on a massive rate. So if we talk about, say, which we will do, some Black American celebrities and the stuff that they're going through, it is not because they're Black and American that we have no cognizant understanding of what...
Yeah, go the excuse. Now they're going to downplay while we're popping, while we're lit. Watch this.
The fuck they're going through. We do relate. And we are Black, by the way, and we can relate.
No, you're not. For those who missed it, they told you what they are. Okay? They're not Black. And we're going to get into this a little later. That's why it's important for my PDF. I'm almost done. I'll pause on it for a second, but I'm almost done. Seriously. You're not Black. You're this. This is their show, by the way. It's the same women.
We're always open to the conversation because one thing, being Black Brits, and we're both of Ghanaian West African heritage, but we're Brits.
There you go. Ghanaian West African heritage. The whole Black Brit stuff, that's a nickname you gave yourself. That's a nickname to who you really are. You just said it. You really are Ghanaians from West Africa, and you gave yourself the nickname Black Brits. One more time.
We're always open to the conversation because one thing, being Black Brits, and we're both of Ghanaian West African heritage, but we're...
Told you, Ghanaian West African heritage. That's what you are. Okay, it's the same lady. Same lady.
Of what the fuck they're going through. We do relate. And we are black, by the way, and we can relate to relationship drama, business drama, racist drama, animal.
No, you can't. I gotta find the video. I should have clipped it where she said that this one right here. She said that nobody. She said she's pretty much an expert on Foundation Black American history, our culture, and everything. And we can't tell her something she doesn't know about our history, our culture. That was laughable. I gotta find that video and clip that.
Drama.
There's always been a rift between Black British people and Black American people. We're all from the same.
All right, okay, all right. I don't care who you show. Nobody speaks on behalf of us, especially if they're not of the lineage. But let me find the video. I must find a video of old where they said that, where she said, we can't tell her anything about our culture. She already knows everything about it. I gotta find that. I didn't think about that till just now. Hold on. Okay, so it gotta be over here somewhere. Anyway, let me see who's in the building. Peace to the family, Grand Rising. We got FBA Convo, Black Feather Archery. We got Monstar McFly. We got Still Tripping, 6100, JJ Mars, 9160, Renaissance Woman. We got Squint 269. Let me give Squint 269. Lineage Wrench, make you a mod. Golden Brown in the building. We got Jersey Freedman. You know, it's a good morning. And we're getting there. We're getting there. We got One Up, Pal, and you. Yeah, so we're getting there. We're gonna build up. We're gonna build up. You know how we do. Sometimes be a slow start, and then we build up. All right. So let me. I was trying to find that damn video. I need that video, family. I need a video where she said that we can't tell her anything about our culture. Damn it. I should go to the last show, right? Okay. I think I'm gonna just go to the last show. Okay, hold. Okay, it's one of these right here. I found this. It's important to play this before I go. Okay, it's one of these right here. Let me see. This is it.
We're British-born Africans.
British-born Africans.
With Ghanaian, West African heritage, but we're British-born Africans.
Okay. So I think this is it right here. Let me just find it. But one more time, who they really are.
And we're both, yeah.
That's early for me.
Yes. Because it's like,
Thank you for joining us on a Sunday morning as well.
Yes, thank you.
And appreciate, because basically we did say we're always open to the conversation, because one thing, being Black Brits, and we're both of Ghanaian, West African heritage, but we're British-born Africans who have been to America multiple times.
Family.
We're
about I can't even pause
the
it, by the way.
unification of Blackness, because the struggle is the same, different ways, different entry points, but we have the same similar white supremacy problem.
YouTube tripping, they won't let me pause it. All right, so they don't go through white supremacy. They go to colonialism supremacy. I hate when they try to bunch it up as the same. It's not the same. All right. Give me a sec. I got a lot of tabs open. That's why it's killing the...
We're British-born Africans.
Yeah, I want y'all to see her face. I want y'all to see her face when she said British-born Africans. Look at her face when she say African. Like she was disgusted to say the word, to call herself African. Listen, family, look at this. Look at her facial expression when she say British born and when she say Africans. Watch how disgusted she looked.
Because one thing, being Black Brits, and we're both of Ghanaian West African heritage, but we're British born Africans.
Yeah, did y'all see her face when she had to confess she was African?
Who have been in West African heritage, but we're British born Africans.
Yeah, was that a face of proud to be African, or was that a facial expression of rejecting her Africanness? I'm gonna show it one more time.
Been to America. We're always open to the conversation because one thing, being Black Brits, and we're both of Ghanaian West African heritage, but we're British born Africans.
Okay, I showed that 3 times. I know I'm not crazy. I know I need a witness. Am I tripping, or did she make a facial expression when she had to acknowledge her Africanness? And it wasn't like she was proud. Did y'all see that? They eat crumpets, they not play. Hey, peace to Emmanuel Brito. We got hey, did y'all see that? I ain't tripping, right? She was disgusted to openly admit that she was African. All right. All right. So let me find what I'm looking for in that video. Shit.
We're back here again, guys. Black American.
All right, so while I look for that, listen to this disgusting woman right here. Let me show you what you're looking at, then I got to share once. So this is the hateful woman.
We're back here again, guys. Black Americans are out here boycotting braiding shops, African braiding shops. And I've seen the videos.
Okay, so just so you get a visual of who's talking.
This video because I wanted to support Shaya's Shelf, who is promoting a protest for August 1st. Complete blackout on African braiding shops, restaurants, and stores, right? I'm absolutely here for this. I'm showing my support because I do this in my everyday life. I do not shop with the Africans. Ain't no African ever braided my hair, put their hands in my head, or none of that, right?
There's this sort of belief that, you know, we work harder and we do this, and but therefore we're like the good model minority.
Yeah.
So they believe that like Africans play into the model minority thing, which in turn makes them look bad.
Yeah.
And that even though, I mean, the FDA and the ADOS lot, they say that they can distinguish who's Black American and who's African.
And I can't.
They say that there's like so many different, like, you know, you can easily distinguish and all that, which I think is a whole load of cat.
I don't think Michael Jackson's got the kids in a choke hold all now.
Yeah.
He's chatting shit.
Yeah, I thought, do you know what? I thought he was just rage baiting, but that's not really the kind of content he makes.
Michael Jackson's the biggest superstar in the world.
Yeah.
He is.
Yeah, period.
I don't think anybody
There's no one
touched him yet.
Like Michael's legacy is untouchable. Like, and the thing is, he's the teacher at the end of the day.
That's the thing. Even Beyonce would be like, guys,
exactly. A lot of people are just out here just living very surface lives. They're not really like doing deep dives on anything. Like a lot of people just exist. You'll be so surprised. I don't even think white supremacy at the height of racism when it started all those hundreds of years ago, I don't think they even anticipated it. Have you guys seen this debate about Michael Jackson versus Beyonce on TikTok? Like, who's the bigger artist?
No.
Oh, shout out to the creator. I can't remember his name, but I actually follow him. I'm so bad. But he's Mahalia's brother.
Okay.
And he does like he does takes on a lot of things. And to be fair, I agree with him 99% of the time. Like,
oh, wow.
Very, very clever, like really intelligent, has great takes. But of course, like everyone has to flop at some point.
Yeah.
Beyonce's bigger than Michael Jackson. I know I'm going to get Ian alive for saying this, but I don't care. Beyonce's bigger than Michael Jackson. I'm not in the hive. I'm not a stan. I probably, like, if I had to pick whose music I preferred, I might pick Michael Jackson one day. I might pick Beyonce. Probably over the career, it's probably Michael Jackson's. But there's just no conversation here. We have got to stop pretending that our personal taste is an objective truth, because it isn't. Some of you are ruled by nostalgia. Some of you are ruled by recency bias. Some people are ruled by culture and race and gender and all other kind of things and all other vibes. I am too. We all are. That's called taste. That's our personal taste. But we can be honest about these things. Look, right? Beyonce is 43 years old. At the big age of 43, Michael Jackson by now put out Invincible. Nobody is going to see him in concert because of Invincible. I'm sorry, you're not. By that point in his life, he's living off legacy. He's living off legacy. If you're going to see Beyonce now, it's because of Cowboy Carter. If you were going a couple of years ago, because of Renaissance. People are waiting to see what she does next. Who at that big age has been doing that? Nobody. Even the people that we love, even the greats, they're still doing tours and people are looking at their legacy. Yeah, play something off the new track, of the new album, but I'm ready to hear the stuff from before. There's no nostalgia bait. She is active in her dominance.
So he had this take about Michael Jackson versus Beyonce, and he said that he feels like Beyonce is the bigger artist and has surpassed Michael Jackson's legacy.
How old is he, first of all?
Literally, he's like our age mate. He's not young.
No, you're not our age mate.
I mean, I feel like everyone's all in the same.
So
thingy.
he's over 35.
Definitely. Actually, he might not be. Let me take that back.
He's not over 35.
But I believe he is. I believe he is, but I don't know for a fact.
35. He's taken the absolute.
I think he is.
No, because he knows Michael.
Yeah, we grew up in that era.
There's absolutely no way. There are not
exactly
kids everywhere putting on a little they're not. They're just not.
Exactly. I totally agree.
There's kids everywhere that's doing that still today. I don't think anyone's doing let me say, not anyone. I don't think it's as widespread.
It's not.
Single ladies. There's not a song of Beyonce that I believe has got the kids in a chokehold. The kids.
Yeah.
There's a certain age, but I don't think Michael Jackson's got the kids in a chokehold all now.
Yeah.
He's chatting shit.
I thought, do you know what? I thought he was just rage baiting, but that's not really the kind of content he makes. But he's doubled down. He's made another video and he's standing 10 toes down on it and saying, and basically what he's trying to say is that back in Michael's day, and I don't agree because everybody knows I'm the biggest MJ stan in the world. Like, you can't talk bad about Michael in my presence. But he's basically saying that Beyonce, what she's up against now, doesn't even compare to what MJ was up against back in the day, because people didn't really have a choice. They didn't have as much choice back then because the options were limited. Like, you had to go out and buy music, whereas now we're in an oversaturated market and Beyonce dominates amongst all the competition that she has and blah, blah, blah. That was the only thing that I was like, interesting, but even still, I don't agree with it. I still don't agree with it.
Yeah, I think he has a point, but it's not the same.
Yeah.
Michael's hysteria, nobody has even come close. And you could do, in effect, actually, should she not be bigger because of all of the mediums that you can watch her on?
Exactly.
There's actually more media. So, no, I get what he's trying to say.
Yeah.
He's just wrong.
That was the only point that I was kind of like, I see it, but still no.
But I think, with all even with the competition, Michael and the Madonnas and the Princes were able stay consistent, and Beyonce is similar. She's modeled herself on their ability to move with the times, stay relevant, but she doesn't cancel out. Maybe I'm lying. Does she cancel out a Nicki Minaj release, a Cardi B release, a Megan Thee Stallion? Well, Megan Thee Stallion's not there, but does she cancel out everybody else's release anymore?
As in, like, people are not going to drop because if they know
people
Beyonce.
say it like the moment where Beyonce's removed the predictable drop. She's the one who's like, I'm gonna drop when I feel like it. So in that respect, unless they have wind because of a label, then they can't avoid the drop. So, like, and the difference between, like, maybe Drake saying because he knows that Taylor Swift is gonna drop, so I'm gonna hold back, or certain people on certain labels, that's different. I don't know if, especially with Beyonce's model of dropping when she feels.
All right. Tether babble. Let's get to how they believe that soul food is in African, I guess, UK, African, Britain. Hold on. Let's get it right. Bunch of tether babble. Hate, a lot of hate, as you can see, for Beyonce. I'm obsessed with Beyonce, but also a hater.
What I had meant was, and I think I explained it, I probably contributed to 1,000 comments a lot. What I had meant was, we have a version, and when I say version, I do not mean, which what a lot of Black Americans took to mean, and those who, they took it to mean that I was saying that we have soul food. Now, technically, and if you want to call it a brand wisely, we do not have soul food that is the same food as African/Black Americans. We do not have soul food as the world understands what soul food is. But where I was coming from, because I didn't know that I was going to get people so angry about it, that I didn't know that me saying that we have a version of soul food, because my understanding of what soul food is the blackness, the history, the spirituality, the ancestry, are both shared histories of colonialism and enslavement. All of that stuff, all those things went into how we as Black people cook our food. And that's where, because people,
keep in mind, they're African, they're Ghanaian, but they want to still Black. Not happening. Just keep that in mind. When they say Black, just cringe, because you see her face. You seen her facial expression when she had to acknowledge her Africanness. She was disgusted. So family, so they like Tariq said, nobody hate Africa more than the African. This is why they want to call themselves everything but African. Black Brit, this, that, anything but African. They want to go Yoruba, blah, 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 anything but African, but at the same time, want to paint us as you're African. Okay.
I don't think anyone's even addressed where the word even soul comes from, what it represents when it comes to Black people. So that's what I meant, that soul, we cook from the soul. All Black people cook from the soul. So that's what I meant when I say we have a version. And as we'll get into, there are lots of meals that a lot of Black Americans have been cussing and say, we don't, Tariq Nasheed, you're an enemy of progress, 100%.
Yes.
In disrespecting our dishes and talking about us like we eat monkey back and giraffe. And do you know what? Fair dues. There might be someone in some bush somewhere in Africa or Caribbean that eats monkey, whatever animal's going, because you know what? Sometimes the portions in the food is restricted. So you're going to make do. Same way that enslaved people in the America did. You made do. No one likes chitlins, really, or gizzard, as we call it.
Don't say that. Don't say that.
No, but because this is the comments. I mean, I've run to the comments.
Really do like.
We definitely don't like glazed gazelle legs either.
Because I don't like choffee, I don't like cow foot, I don't like oxtail, I don't like gizzard and all that stuff. But you see where we have commonality? You see? Zero. And that's all I meant. I'm going to read this comment out from Candid CC. She said, ma'am, I won't do that. You don't call your food soul food. But that's not the name of your food. Soul food was created by Black Americans. Soul food is uniquely Black American food. You don't believe me? Google soul food. I don't understand how you all can respect every Black culture, but disrespect Black American culture. The reason she asked what Black British culture is outside of African and Caribbean culture is because we also have African and Caribbeans in America who have completely different experiences than most Black Americans, i.e. they experience their native culture at home and white American and Black American cultures outside. Black Americans have our own culture. I don't understand how I could say a version of soul food relates to Black Americans don't have culture, or that your culture isn't uniquely significant to you. I don't understand that, because even in what you're saying, that we have completely different, we don't have completely different experiences. You cannot say we have completely, just by being Black alone. I've talked a lot. By being Black alone.
But you're not. You use that word as a descriptive adjective. We use it as an endonym. Okay. So yeah, you're not, like, you gotta explain to what it means to be Black to you. Then I'm gonna check you and explain what it means to be Black to us. And it's different. Matter of fact, you guys didn't start embracing Black until like the 90s or 2000s. Like, so stop.
We have a commonality in our experiences in being Black on Western shores. Blood.
Farah, what do you think to that comment then? What do you think?
That's very British, just so you know. That's very Black British, darlings. For those of you across the way, that's very Black British way of speaking, darlings. You know, to say blood. Get me though, blood. I mean, a deep sigh. I understand. Listen, I understand why people are sensitive about something that they have coined something that means a lot to them. I understand that, but I go back to the point that you made, and the point that you said a version. You did say a version, and that's what I'd like to stress. You didn't.
All right, so check this out.
Black American. So I can't believe that everybody that was part of media was from outside of America. And I know for my cousins, they consider themselves, though they are the same as, I would say, I'm Black British, Ghanaian. They do this.
Black British Ghanaians. Okay, you don't have to add the black there. You could just say British Ghanaian, and they know exactly how you look. No need for black. Like I said, they use it as a descriptor. She just said black, and I'm gonna clip this in a second. I'm gonna let it play out. But you see how they call themselves now? She's Black British Ghanaian. So now they're throwing a Ghanaian there. You see, we don't have that Ghanaian part, the African part to throw behind Black American. We're just Black American. We're just for foundational Black American. There's no Ghana, Kenya, nothing after that.
The same with the same as, I would say, I'm Black British Ghanaian. They do the same with America. So they would say, I am a Black American. They were born there. Their lineage does go to Ghana. So it's like,
no, it does not. I have no lineage to Ghana. I mean, they just be making shit up.
I'm a Black American. They were born there. Their lineage does go to Ghana. So it's like,
I would love for these tethers to prove that one of our lineage, either revenue, whoever. Yeah, I would love for them to prove that my lineage goes to any place in Africa.
Like, what I have an issue with is the picking apart of that. That feels, that doesn't,
Okay, and then she go on to try to link us up with the white supremacists.
Say it's this. You said a version, and we went on to elaborate on that, and we went on to elaborate about the commonalities, about the way that we cook, about why we cook the way that we do, the ingredients that we use, how in the Caribbean and in America, there were certain things that weren't available that we may have used when we came from Africa, but we adapted. We talked about adaptation.
All right, so here they go again. So they kind of know the truth. Listen to this.
For more people,
but the L is distracting me because that's the problem, and I'm hearing it in different ways. But because we use black here as well,
that's another
it's really it throws off because you're using black specifically for Black American.
Right, exactly.
Whereas in the same way we use black here specifically,
right? It means
for
something
Black
different.
British,
It's just a different.
Oh, we know it means something different. I got to clip this too. So I'm gonna come back to clip this. Oh, we know it means something differently. And I've been expressing it in the PDF I got for free. I'm gonna email exposes that specificity. Okay.
Off because you're using black specifically for Black American. Whereas in the same way we use black here specifically,
right? It means
for
something
Black
different.
British,
It's just a different. It would be
I understand
regionally.
I
For
understand.
you, or like black and the UK, it's not exactly the same black in America. Like and then colored in the USA is not the same as colored in South Africa.
Family. They take our word, how we identify themselves, and then they add their own definition to it and try to make that definition be accepted. No, you're a British Ghanaian, like you said, West African. You're just living in UK. And family, don't stay tuned. Stay tuned. I'm gonna expose the Black Brits, and it's the quote unquote in a second.
Yeah.
Right. Similar verbiage, but it has a different connotation, has a different history.
Yeah, it's just different altogether, man. You're not black at all.
We talked about that. I think what's important to remember, and we kind of spoke about this before, is that Black American culture is something that has evolved over hundreds of years. And it has evolved and it has been blended from cultures from multiple countries in Africa multiple, you know, obviously the European experience as well. Just it's a blend of cultures that has created this beautiful thing that is Black American culture. What we have in England is a very early version of that. It's a very that's what. So to say, I think where we were offended by the comment from the American lady saying that there is no Black, there is no Black English culture or Black British culture. What is it outside of the Black Caribbean and African experience? And what we said was you cannot take away from that because it is a blend. And if you had gone back hundreds of years in America and asked the same question, it would be the same thing. It's just we're earlier on in the journey. That's all. That's what I think about that.
Yeah,
I think so. Do you think though, because there were so many comments really honing in that I think people felt like we downplayed what the Black American, African American experience was?
Of course,
and
you do that. That's what tethers do.
Talking about them like they were all stupid. Like there are hundreds of comments that are literally like, you guys are talking about us like we are all really stupid, and you're not acknowledging how unique our experience is compared to.
I don't think that we did that at any point in time.
Of course you didn't.
I don't
Tethers
think that
never
we do that
know they're
at
tethering.
any point in time. And the reason why I'm going to say that, I believe that a lot of people did not watch the episode in its entirety and did not get the full context of the conversation that we were having, and do not watch us or have not listened to us and do not get the context of how we talk about our cousins. Hence, we say our cousins because we want people to understand that
relations.
We're part of a wider thing. We're not alone in this world. We are the global majority. We keep mentioning the fact that we are the global majority. This whole thing about us versus them, that is a tool that was used in slavery and colonization.
And family, you're downplaying it now by saying the issue that is happening is due to white supremacy. You're downplaying it by saying that. So she's trying to explain how she's not downplaying it by downplaying it.
And we should just bun that thing.
I think.
And what I mean by downplaying our arguments and issues with them.
And again, I know personally, I don't talk down on African Americans at all. I don't talk down on them, even when we've spoken about, and this is the thing, exactly as you said, Faro, not enough.
Their entire show is about talking down on us. Their entire show.
Enough people watch us, and I get it. We can't argue about,
And this is why they don't allow us on the show. And this is why they'll never accept an invitation to come to our show.
Even be upset about people taking a clip, because we do it. We react to certain clips, and we don't have time to do all the research. We're going to react to what we see. So I get that, but none of us in the comments, and I think people reacted to me saying it's about education, and that part could be. I'm not even going to argue if I said that. I said that. I didn't mean it disrespectfully, but you can take it like I was saying that, because that's what people were saying. Or you were saying education. I'm like, well, it is education even on my part, because even as I said that, not thinking that Black Americans would be so offended by it, I have now learned how precious this word and term is. So it's an education. I wasn't saying it was it wasn't a one-sided education. It's education for all of us. But in the moment, because I didn't realize that people would be so pissed off, I thought what I said was fair. And I think Erin has said, she was saying, well, everyone knows that soul food is African American. I've said that. But also, when you're not upset by another set of people, you see commonalities. So I'm not angry with Black Americans. I don't give a damn about, I don't see you guys as dumb or more stupid. I know dumb people in the UK. I know dumb people in America. Some of the celebrities do some dumb shit. Some of them I absolutely revere and love. So as a fan of their work and stuff like that. So I'm not sitting here thinking anything else, that we're all Black with different accents and different experiences. But essentially, me and a Black American woman walk down the street, and the police or the cops want to go off on us, they're not going to say, well, you're African American, so and we're not going to touch you, or vice versa. We are Black. Racism touches us same way. When I'm talking about adulting, when celebrities or Black women in the industry are talking about Black women issues, whether it's about skin tone, hair stuff, dealing with man, we relate because we have a common experience that is relatable as Black people.
when people are telling us we
As
can't
you're
relate,
there, as
Go
you're
on.
there, let me just do Debbie Smith, because Debbie Smith actually left, I think it was more like 15 comments in her run, but this was one of her most poignant ones. And she said, I think that uniting is out of the question. You have no business speaking on what goes on in the US. We do not consume British culture here. You know, there is zero African influence within our culture. This is exactly what we're talking about. This is why FBAs exist. And again, she had 15, but there's hundreds of people saying the same thing as her. And that clear divide.
Yeah, because it's true. It ain't no, she said divide.
But there's hundreds of people saying the
Hey, family, these people, you know what's crazy? Like, they really think out how to justify their hate, but also they try to think out how to explain their hate that is not is not actual hate. You know, it's funny that we're familiar with that. Like, we lived through Jim Crow, and we're used to white people explaining racism like it ain't hate. Oh no, that's just how my grandfather feels. That's just my father was born into that. He just, you know, you got to just forgive him. Same thing here. But I think I found what I was looking for. Let's see.
Black Caribbean. So there's a perspective that you won't have, or an understanding that you won't have, which we, unfortunately, the problem is that we have had so much insight into Black American culture and American culture that it feels like I know you more than you know me, which is kind of true without me I don't know you, I don't know Chicagoans, I don't know Louisianans like that, but I've had so much of American Black culture fed to me that I know more, I understand and know more than you know about Black British culture, that you know.
Well, right. Well, first of all, y'all got to make your mind up, because they first say they learn our culture from TV. And when they learn our culture from TV, according to them, is degenerate. When they learn our culture from music, is degenerate. This is what they say. So you don't really know our culture. Like, you feed into stereotypes and racism about our culture, and you guys take that as its history.
Same thing as her. And that's the US, one of her most poignant ones. And she said, I think that uniting is out of the question. You have no business speaking on what goes on in the US. We do not consume British culture here. You know, there is zero African influence within our culture. This is exactly what we're talking about. This is why FBAs exist. And again, she had 15, but there's hundreds of people saying the same thing as her. And that clear divide, like, and for you guys in the comments as well, is this really real? Is it that we can never unite? Are we living in that world?
Let's get an FBA answer. No. Hell no. Okay. H to the N-O.
I will never ever agree to that, because I don't see myself like that. I don't see the divide as necessary. And what I've been saying when I've been in the comment streets, when I ran to the comments to make my comments, I was very much like, I've grown. I don't think Black Americans, because the internet is breaking down the walls of access and understanding each other, Black Americans now getting, it's kind of like, I keep saying that it's like you've been living in the Truman Show, and you lot don't realize how much Black American culture and just generally American culture has been transported and exported to the world. You guys, the American.
Now, this is the justification of why we're so lit and so influential. Somehow, white supremacy is exporting our culture around the world and forcing it on these tethers and forcing them to like the music. And stop. You guys are they did not export anything. You guys are peeking in, cosplaying, you dig, trying to be one of us, and maybe marketers see that and be like, oh, okay, let's push it over there. They're already trying to look like them, buying their clothes or something similar. America is forcing our culture on them. That's why they're cosplaying. Yeah, this is hilarious.
Government and whatever brand you guys hold has been exported to the world. So that is why you have some person in a remote village in Africa speaking with American accent because they're watching TV and that's what's being brainwashed to them. We have grown up with American culture. That's it as a standard for our generation. The new generation is a bit different, but that is our generation. So there's no way, I'm not looking at you guys like we can't connect because I see it. And what you guys don't understand is that UK is a very tiny space. We are 8% or 2% of the UK, the whole of the UK. Americans don't need to come to us and get.
Yeah, she said, did she say 2%? Let me look that up. Let me look that up real fast. The 2 to 8%, that's a big jump. Oh my God, family. Oh my God. And they be trying to compare themselves to us. This is crazy. Okay, so I spelled percentage wrong. Whatever. In the United Kingdom, approximately 3.7% to 4% of the population is African British. Family, they are insignificant. I didn't know they were that small over there. My God. They act like they were over there. Oh my God. Thank you for that. They are 4% of the population in UK, in the UK. And so nobody want them over in their homeland. God damn.
Content and get entertainment because you guys built Hollywood. You built the music industry as we know it. So you don't need us in that respect. You don't need to know what's going on over here. The internet has now broken the walls where you might have a little Stormzy and Gigs and then Top Boy and certain exports and Idris and then Letitia Wright and certain people moving over there. You're starting to understand there's more to the UK than cup of teas and white people. But you're starting to understand the roles hasn't been reversed, and it probably never will be in the same way. That is why you guys don't get it. You don't need our content. It's fine. We understand, but there's no animosity from my side and from a lot of people on our side because we've just grown up with you as a natural kind of, as far as said, cousins. We see you as extended family. That's how I see it. The only difference is the younger ones who are growing up in a more of a British culture where we are starting to get a generation of Black British children or UK-based children who are a mix of Caribbean, English, and African, however their mixed dynamics. And that is where, unfortunately, for you guys who are so precious about the term soul food, you might get a generation in the UK start saying that we have soul food or we have fusion because the cultures are blending and becoming, Black British culture is becoming a thing. That it will be defined by this homogenous grouping of us where we're no longer maybe as separated by the fact that I can go to Ghana, Farah can go to Grenada, Nana can go to Ghana, and Sade can go to Nigeria. It might just be, well, we're just in the UK and we're just Black. And that's where you're going to start the evolution. And that's the same journey that Black Americans have been on. That's why there's similarities. I feel like I could fucking be on a podium forever about this.
Vara, what do you think? Do you think, because I guess I think it's poignant for people to know that you are Caribbean as well.
Yeah.
And your own.
Yeah, she all mixed up.
And probably seeing more of a uniting take place as well. So do you think it's possible?
Do I think it was? Say again.
Do you think it's possible that we can have a global?
Like Tariq said, why do you need us to unite yourselves? Just go unite without us and show us what we're missing. You don't need us. Go show us how it's done and then come back and say, look what we got lit. Are you guys sure you don't want to unite with us? Like they act like to start the unification dream, fantasy, that we need to be there. Oh, go show us how it's done. The same way we showing you guys how it's done over here, how we're getting on code.
Global African existence, which is what Debbie is saying, it absolutely cannot take place.
I think it is possible. And the reason why I say I think it's possible, because I still remember a time when Africans and Caribbeans in the UK were very divided. Very divided. And that was by design, and not design of our own, I might add. You know, if you...
Yes, it was. It was design of your own. And everything, yeah, they make white people so powerful. Like they're the opposite of us. We look at them as inferior, all type of shit, you know, as far as like not really inferior, but we look at them as we can do what they can do. They can't stop us. They look at them as they're the end all be all. They're stopping them from uniting. You know, they're just too powerful. That's not how we view white people. Like, that's that defeated mentality.
Caribbeans were told...
There we go.
I might add.
With the excuses.
You know, if you... Caribbeans were told horror stories about what Africa was.
Oh my God, they're told. Now, keep in mind, who is the storyteller? You feel me? Like, they got to make that make sense. Why are you believing a story from your colonizer, right? So the question is, were your colonizer ever your friend, or were they always your op? Okay, aren't you in a messed up situation because you're colonizers? So why would you sit there and believe your colonizer, your open enemy, about other people from your descent that did nothing to you? Well, they sold you. they did sell you though. But outside of that, why are you believing your ops? And they believe it like it's biblical, because they say the same thing with us. They do the same thing with us. Oh, well, media and TV and radio lying told us about this about you guys. So we come to America, we believe that, and we want to get away from you. Yeah, but in your homeland, were you best friends with your colonizer, or were you opposed to them? They're going to say opposed. So why are you believing your opposers' words as though they're, you know, the finger of God? And, you know, that's how you trip them up. Like, stop it. And guess what? If you're that gullible to believe that, we definitely don't want to be around you, because you're easily co-optable. You dig? No, we're good. Y'all that gullible, we're good.
Caribbeans were told that you don't want to identify with your African history. Caribbeans were told that there's nothing in Africa and there's no beauty in it, and everyone there is starving.
Well, they wasn't technically lying there.
Starving and lives in huts. That's what Caribbeans were told. No, I mean, obviously,
you know, it's funny. The Caribbean people were living in huts as they were told this. Like, that'd be the ironic thing. It's like, wait a minute. You're living in huts, being told that other folks 1,000 miles away are living in huts, and they got a nerve to thumb their nose up and down to those people living in huts when they're living in huts themselves.
See, I'm generalizing, because obviously not every Caribbean was told, but you know, that was kind of like...
Right, you're making it up. You just made it up. You just made it up. Just say that. You just made that up.
Like what the media would put out to you. So yeah, not so much like what you learned in your home countries, I might add, but because the beautiful thing that I will say about being Caribbean is that when I go to Grenada and I see the history of it, yes, I can see the struggle that we as Caribbeans have been through, but I can also see the beauty in the things that we have managed to hold on to, despite everything that we went through, despite slavery, despite colonization, despite still being part of this fucking Commonwealth, despite all of that stuff, we've managed to hold on to very amazing traditions, like the way that we grow our food, the food that we consume, the way that we have our buildings, the way that we dress, the way that we celebrate. That there's a traditional type of carnival in masquerade in Grenada, and I remember seeing something in Ghana, and I messaged Aquia, and I was like, "That's fucking mad," because that's what we do, and like to understand that where that's come from. I think Yeah, Black Americans were told the same, and I was going to get to that because I remember seeing a clip not so long ago where there was an American Black guy on a podcast, and he was talking to another American Black guy, and that he was explaining that he'd always been told, you don't want to go to Africa, there's nothing there. And then the very first time that he got on a plane and went to Africa, he said it was full of white people. And he thought to himself, if there's nothing in Africa, why are all these white people going there? And then when he got there,
well, there's nothing still there. Everything's in the ground. So they're going there to look in the ground. There's nothing above ground. That's when people say there's nothing there, they mean above ground.
Was like, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it feels so beautiful. They wouldn't be leaving. All right. They wouldn't be flooding the UK. They wouldn't be flooding America, Canada, Japan, London, you dig, the world, basically, India.
That's why you have the year of the return. That's why you have so many of these things happening now, so that we can go back to the motherland. And it is the motherland. No one's, I'm not going to sit and act like I'm not a proud Grenadian. I'm fucking proud to be Grenadian. You don't know this, right? But I'm also proud of my African heritage. And I say all this to say that I do think there will become a day when you don't have to separate the two things. You don't have to be one or another. You can be a blend. You can acknowledge the past and understand that is going to help us in the future. You can be patriotic to where you come from because of the things that you've done and the success and the way that you've built that place up. But it doesn't mean that you have to shit on something or disassociate yourself from something in order to maintain that.
Yeah.
What was you going to say? What did you put up from Erin? I didn't see it.
Sorry, it was Erin, Jay. There was a couple because I saw when I lost it. Someone was saying that we can't unite because people need to stop cosplaying us. I want to get into the cosplay.
Please do.
Sorry, can I just say something about the comment on Instagram? So Miriam Yusuf on Instagram has said that the division only exists in people's minds.
Yeah,
and I get what she means.
True. It's true.
That is.
Go on, you speak, Nana. You say some stuff.
All right. No, I just wanted to see what Erin was saying because you threw it up.
Erin was saying it's a tough thing. As an African who faced a lot of bullying by my Caribbean brothers and sisters here in America, the scars are deep, but I've learned that the loss of identity creates division. Now, I wanted to respond to that because I have seen a lot, and it's only been one way, of Black Americans or African Americans in the comments saying that Caribbeans and African immigrants in America don't like us. And that is the same narrative that was told to Caribbeans and Africans in the UK.
Look, you hear this? That's the same narrative.
Okay.
These are disgusting women, yo. These are tethers. I mean, you can't define tether more than these women. Okay? You can't define tether more than these women. Like, these are, matter of fact, let me bring it over here so you can watch it. There you go. But you guys can see it.
That divide thing. And I'm not saying that individual experiences didn't happen. I know there were African and Caribbean parents who gave warnings to their children about the other communities. I know that African and Caribbeans interacted in certain ways and had their funny ways.
But hold on, let me see what this is about right here.
The Caribbean, and there's a large population within South America and America. But in order to keep us from seeing how powerful we could be, you then want somebody to be like, I'm a Black American, I am foundational, you are an African American, or you are. This doesn't make any sense.
Okay,
collectively, we can have our separate areas when we're talking to each other, but unified, we should stand in one accord that you can't fuck.
Yeah, they are desperate. I mean, this is embarrassing. They are desperate to unify with us. Go find one of those countries in Africa. Go find one of those islands in the Caribbean and unite with one of them. Why are these folks desperately wanting to unite with us? This is embarrassing. They're almost begging. No, the answer is no. No.
Fuck with any of us. It shouldn't be pitting ourselves against each other.
Putting ourselves against each other, because we're saying go hold your own nuts, unify with yourselves. We're saying, look, and by the way, they're not speaking for the whole of the UK, like the 4% of African Brits, they're not speaking for them. They're speaking for their 10, 15 people in their little auntie channel. Yeah, they're not speaking for the 4%. And they're not speaking for the islands or Africa. Okay. So you need to unite amongst the 4% Brits first and foremost. Get something going on, and then take that and unite with some Caribbean or some other countries in Africa. But no, we're 43 million deep, and we're not interested in uniting with 15 cosplaying hateful West African Ghanaians in the UK, African Brits. We're not interested.
Because they are of that issue. I know all of that happened. So I know there are going to be immigrants in America that come to America with certain thinking mindsets and maybe not assimilate, but then also not one, I actually have not seen any comments from any Black Americans about the way that they probably denigrated African and Caribbean immigrants. You would do. We're tribalistic by nature. Human beings are tribalistic. You're going to disrespect the person with a funny accent who's different from you, who you think.
I mean, expecting people to be reflective and actually be like, you know what, we didn't welcome people with open arms.
Yeah, so everybody is trying to be king or queen tethered. They're all competing right now to be the king or queen tethered. And they cannot exist without leeching off of us. That's all I talk about.
There's very few people that are going to do that. I did see some folks actually discussing, yes, it was frosty, and then in the Pan-African movement space they were like, we wanted people to join together, and Africa.
Yeah, but they are outdated and they're the minority. Yeah, so thirsty. You guys trying to link up with 200 Pan-Africanists in America. There's only about 200 of them, and they're not even united. They family, look at all these Pan-Africanist channels. You can find them. They're not united. They're divided amongst themselves because they want to be king, queen, papa.
Not necessarily Caribbeans, it was more Africans. When they started coming over in the 90s, they were very separatist and were literally like, no, because we've seen it doesn't work for you Black Americans, and they tooted their noses up and just got what they wanted to get, and they didn't want to be a part of the freedom fight. That could be true, because there were like Caribbeans also in the 50s and 60s that would level that at Africans as well. That actually, when we're trying to fight for our freedoms, you are out here being like, it's about education, it's about education. We are not protesting. And I could see that being a very kind of West African sentiment. So that probably is a firm disconnect. And yeah, generationally, but as it changes and everybody starts to realize a global Black, I think we can change that. I think we can evolve. The more we get to know each other
and spend
Black. Time with
There's only national Black,
and not going on what we hear our parents talk about. Because I think a lot of times it is elders that are talking about this trouble and strife that they went through, and then you carry it on. It's not necessarily to my face people were saying that. I think there's definitely in recent generations, I think there's very few people that have that story genuinely. I think they've heard.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think also, as far as said, I've been saying that we need to have a rebrand of Black. The same way Black men are trying to rebranding what it means to be a present Black father, because they've been shit.
No. We're not rebrand. Yeah, they just be making, again, well, you're not from the lineage, you don't know our culture. We're not rebranding anything. We're doing what we always did. What the Black father image has been influenced negatively by systemic racism, mass incarceration, drugs, all the way from slavery. Like I could cook on that. I could freestyle it and cook anybody on that. So it's no rebranding where we're learning how to get around those obstacles, and some of those obstacles aren't there as hardcore as they once were. Maybe it's being harder for these obstacles to deter FBA men from being fathers and part of their kids' lives. So no. And remember, they had the whole, it's kind of hard to keep the Black father not home thing because the welfare rules, the man in the house rules is no longer there. So these barriers that were specifically for us are no longer there. Now welfare, now that it's extended to immigrants, now you can be a family in a low housing home, and that was not the case with us. You had to be single. The mom had to be single. The man the house rule. So there were deliberate attempts that's easily proven that were systemically trying to get the father away from the home. So many different devices. A lot of devices are hard to do right now. That's all. And so without that, FBA men just doing what they would have normally did without the devices. They just being fathers, and they're reportedly the best fathers.
We have had to do a lot of work to rebrand what Africa's about, because all we had fucking Bob Geldof and the like talking about
Listen, you didn't change nothing about it. No stigma about Africa. Africa is known as tribal, hate each other, and you guys can't still get along. So no, you didn't change anything. But let's listen to this right here.
Influences. We have Caribbean in there, and now you have even more of like an Arabic, Somali influence.
So it's mesh. You can hear the layers of. So when I ask you where you're from, you're not gonna just tell me, "Oh, I'm just black," because I'll be like, "Huh? What do you like? What is that? What does that mean to me? To us?"
You heard her. She said, "We can't just tell her we're just black." She's gonna be like, "Huh? What does that mean to us?" A tether.
As we're speaking,
right? Yeah.
I can see you if you were saying that to some white person who doesn't, some who don't know.
You don't know either.
Yes, right. I can see you maybe saying that to them, but even though sometimes we think that they don't know, they know too. They know and then the corporate white people, they know the difference. They know. They like to play like they don't know, but they do know.
Okay, yeah.
Because there's a whole thing with tokenism, heritage tokenism. This is a thing. People might not like to talk about it, but it's a thing. Because you are a black woman, with an accent.
Accent? You're not black then. You just said it. Black woman with an accent means not black. That cancels out.
Distended stomachs and flies on our faces and living in mud huts and everything is about famine. There was nothing to be proud of for some. But for a lot of Africans, speaking from the UK experience, trying to fight through and not be ashamed because I'm African. I was all right because I don't know what maybe I came home from, I don't know what it was. I was okay, but there were a lot of Africans who pretended to be Caribbean. There were a lot of Africans that didn't want to speak up and admit that they spoke another language at home because people would laugh at them. If your hair was 4C.
Okay, I finally found it, family. I could finally clip it. I finally found what I was looking for. Oh, it took forever. Okay. Okay, let me see where to start from. Now I can clip it. Oh, right. I just got to clip it now. Let me share with you guys. I was looking for it. All right, so I finally found it. Let me just clip it.
You travel, even if you can still be tribalistic and hold dear to your culture, but you start to understand why we are saying what we're saying. And I have to always lead with, we have been to America multiple times.
There we go.
Lead with I have to lead with the way that Black American culture has been. We understand. You cannot tell me I don't understand. I've not lived it, but I understand it. Can't tell me nothing. I will never let any American tell me that I don't understand. So that's my influence.
I feel like that's where I'm like, they can say that, but I'm.
There we go. Right there, family.
And I have to lead with the way that Black American culture has been. We understand. You cannot tell me I don't understand. I've not lived it, but I understand it. Can't tell me nothing. I will never let any.
So family, we can't tell her nothing. She understands. Let me save this. I needed this. I finally found it. So she knows our culture. We can't tell her a damn thing. She understands it. She'll never let a foundation Black American tell her otherwise. She knows our culture, and that's it.
You travel, even if you can still be tribalistic and hold dear to your culture. I've been to America multiple times, and I have to lead with the way that Black American culture has been. We understand. You cannot tell me I don't understand. I've not lived it, but I understand it. Can't tell me nothing. I will never let any American tell me that I don't understand. So that's my ignorance comes in.
I feel like that's where
Family, that is exactly why I don't want anything to do with an African. So I'm not throwing away the Caribbean just yet, but Africa's done in my mind. They're out of there.
You were cussed for being African, whether you were African or not. Then
Oh,
you
yeah.
must be,
That's very true. That is
so
very
all those
true.
things. So then there was a lot of, and don't act like, and we have it in American culture, as I said, it was exported. What we also got was the disrespect of Africans. You got one of Eddie Murphy's most infamous skits.
Here we go, family. Here we go. Get ready for the African booty scratcher. Here we go.
Is about tough Eddie, whatever Eddie. You've got yeah, and then you've got
even her name is taking
a kid on a zebra.
Exactly.
Yes.
And
Oh,
you've got
wow. That's so offensive.
Tough like Nigerian hair. There's always disrespect of Africans. So when and I'm not even defending anyone coming over and being snooty and turning your nose up, especially when you're coming in as an immigrant to come and disrespect the people that have, fought civil war, so civil liberties, so you can come and enjoy yourself. But at the same time, people round on each other and stay insular when you feel the wrath, when you feel like people don't like you, so then you're going to be defensive. So people need to be honest about that. Once you get honest about all the shit and the isms, because also we have to talk about the disproportionate or the misunderstanding about what happened during enslavement. People that want to not like Africans say, well, you sold us. They don't go into the nuances of what the when you feel like people don't like you, so then you're going to be defensive. So
wait, this is my area right here. Okay, so the selling part. Hey, family, can we get the likes up? We're down like damn at 30. You dig? We just getting started. We got a dude named Tether IBM in the building. Tether Indigenous Black Man. Okay, I know you could be an indigenous tether, but okay, welcome, brother. But listen to this right here.
Want to not like Africans say, well, you sold us. They don't go into the nuances of what the fuck happened. Because there were some tribes that were.
Wait, so tell us what happened. I mean, how do you explain that away? And family, this is the ultimate self-hatred. No, not self-hatred. This is the ultimate FBA hatred. She's going to justify their role in selling us. That's like a parent that's on crack, justifying selling her baby for more crack. It's like, I understand. I don't care if she could point out the CIA planted crack in her house and did all this stuff and gave her every opportunity to smoke crack. Okay, cool. Great. But you now smoke crack and you sold your baby for more crack. Like, there's no way to like excuse that, like forgive that. Like, you're just done. We just got to chalk it up. So the fact that they sold us, we don't give a damn about the reason, what was going on in politics. You sold us, you're out. And those who bought us, we don't care about the politics, the reasons, you're out. But let's listen to the tether logic of why we were sold.
Or the misunderstanding about what happened during enslavement. People that want to not like Africans say, well, you sold us. They don't go into the nuances of what the fuck happened. Because there were some tribes that worked with the whites.
So you can't hear what I can't hear. Let me see, because on my end, I hear it. We were sold.
Or the misunderstanding about.
Yeah, now on my side, I hear everything. What you guys can't hear, I can't hear it. Hey, peace to Chosen 1619, $99 super chat. Tethers turned guilt into victimhood. Insane. Right. Hey, this is crazy. This is like that young woman from the who just got convicted from the Julio Fulio. She's a victim. Yeah. But but I can hear, I can hear myself. You got to turn it up. Mad Dog Williams, brother, because I definitely can hear myself.
To fucking sell their people on.
But
let me give a shout out to FBA all the way. Yeah, that be not on my end. All right, so let's hear the excuses.
That part worked with the whites to fucking sell their people on. Misunderstanding about what happened during enslavement. People that want to not like Africans say, well, you sold us. They don't go into the nuances of what the fuck.
She said people who don't want to like them. So we don't want to like them. So we're looking for reasons. That's how she's pitching it. People who don't like, I'm saying this is an anti-FBA podcast. 100%. People who don't like them want to point out you sold us. So we can't point out obvious truths without you know what? That sounds exactly like systemic racism. When you point that out, we're called reverse racists for pointing out historical things. And then at some point, these tethers are going to say, that's the past. Don't bring up the past. At some point, they're going to go there.
Or the misunderstanding about what happened during enslavement. People that want to not like Africans say, well, you sold us. They don't go into the nuances of what the fuck happened. Because yes, there were some tribes that worked with the whites to fucking sell their people on.
But it's that part.
Okay, she struggled. She struggled. First of all, the selling was going on way before whites decided to involve themselves. Let's get that part out the way. This was massive. Matter of fact, this in my thank you. I gotta put this in my PDF. It was already there, but I had to do the PDF over because it was kind of like scrambled a little bit. So, but this part got to be thrown back in there. All right. To explain what happened here. The Homie tribe and other tribes they already had a system of selling before Europeans were ever involved. Okay. This is why she struggled. Oh, they're working with Europeans. Why? Why are they working with them? Because they already had something going on. Europeans said, I want in.
Talk about
of what the fuck happened. Because yes, there were some tribes that worked with the whites to fucking sell their people on.
But it's that part. Let's
struggle. What happened? I thought she was going to teach us the nuances. What happened to the nuances? One more time. Look at the struggle she just did to teach us the nuances about how they sold us.
Nuances of what the fuck happened. Because yes, there were some tribes that worked with the whites to fucking sell their people on.
But it's that part. Let's talk about it's saying them saying your people. It wasn't like they were giving the colonizers or the enslavers people from their own villages.
Wait a minute. Hold on. So a family. She ain't about to say what I think she's gonna say, right? If their next door neighbor isn't their people, then how the hell we are 1,000 miles away? So now all of a sudden, their next door neighbor aren't Africans like themselves. So she's about to explain they're not selling their own. They're all African, right? But somehow it doesn't count because they're not part of the same tribe. So they don't see them as their own. But somehow they see us as their own 400 years later. And we're not from the same tribe. We don't speak no language, no nothing, like with no culture, nothing we got to them. So if they can't see the people that share similar culture, similar language, share the same region as them, if they can't see them as their own, how are they seeing us thousands of miles away as their own? Like she just cooked herself.
It was people that from.
And by the way, they were selling people from the same tribe to Europeans. Yes, they were. Yes, they were. And they were selling people from other tribes.
They were giving the colonizers or the enslavers people from their own villages. It was people that from other villages that they may be in war with, and this happens. And this is not me saying that it's right.
Uh-oh, here we go with the excuses. Stop it. Yeah, it was already going on. And Europeans, when they came around, they said, hey, we need to get in on this. And Europeans encouraged this practice to go max 10 times more. And they volunteered to do this because they were getting money. So it wasn't in the intangible. They were getting tangibles in exchange that they felt was a quid pro quo, an even exchange. Okay. So this is hilarious.
Obviously, but sometimes it was about the survival of the space that they were in. It's not
Just making that shit up, just making up. Okay. But the bottom line is that we ended up over here. We were a result of that selling that you don't need. Once you sold us, you said, we don't want you here. Goodbye. And that's why we're saying, okay, same energy, right? Same energy. Now we had an ethnogenesis over here. We're a whole different people. We're the brightest amongst the stars. Now all of a sudden, hey, yo, we are all the same. No, we're not. Because you just said that they didn't sell their same. They sold their differences. She just said they sold their differences. We were their differences. So how are we your differences and we're also the same? You got to be consistent. Super chat, my life been exchanged. Let me see the whole name because sometimes YouTube don't. Let me expand it. So we got my life been exchanged for yours, FBA in the building. Okay, super chat $5. They didn't sell FBAs. We was already here. We say the Africans. So thanks for the super chat, Lineage Love, brother. Appreciate you. Okay. So, that's one way to look at it. And, there's many ways to look at it. And she's looking at it another way, right? And I'm just pointing out the contradictions in her way. Okay. So if they sold their differences, then and we were the differences, then how are we the same today? They got to answer that one.
Not like they got into a massive trade for it. And, it didn't, and I always say this, I doubt that they understood what these people were being sold into because how could they have any idea? It's not like anyone ever came back to tell.
By the way, they absolutely knew what they were selling into. They absolutely knew what were happening to us that were sold. They absolutely knew. Okay, but again, they're just explaining away excuses. No accountability at all. Just everything is an excuse that they do, and everything we do is just hatred.
Tell the story.
I think even if they kind of knew.
You see, I think even if they can't she checked her. Matter of fact, God, I don't want to do that again. All right.
I have a new simile.
There's a thing in the UK called black tax. It's where immigrants send money back home to their own family. Same practice in terms of leaving Africans in Europe and sometimes in worse conditions. Damn. Go gadget. Go. Let me throw you a lineage wrench. Make you a moderator.
For this.
Right. So people without a wrench, I'm gonna give you a lineage wrench because I'm assuming that you're of the lineage or you're actually a supporter. All right.
Okay. In the same way that the CIA brought drugs.
Oh boy, the CIA. Where was the CIA influence? Where was the CIA influence when you guys sold us? Every dirty thing they do, family, they got an excuse, and it's always the CIA, the colonizer. We just want to know, where was that in the 1600s when you sold us? Stop it.
Into the black community, and it was black folk that were selling it in order to get rich, and you're selling it to your community.
You heard this woman. She's comparing the drug epidemic to them selling us. Like, this is just set. Yo, matter of fact, I'm gonna put all this in ChatGPT. I'm gonna have ChatGPT cooker. I'm gonna save my lungs in this one.
Community, and you're actually destroying your whole community. And we don't talk about that. I think it's very similar. There's a new way that my empire can get big, can get rich.
Precisely.
And people,
Okay, so that right there, I'm gonna put that into Chat GPT. Okay, I'm gonna put all that in chat, everything they said. All right, hold on. Give me a second. Give me a second. Okay, here we are. Give me a second. Okay, here we go. Okay. This is gonna be hilarious. So let them ramble off while I do this.
participated in that venture. Now, can you say that Black people have truly mastered the drug game? No, they haven't. They're literally collateral damage. And I think it's very similar to slavery. It's like there definitely should have been a code of ethics to not participate. But I would say exactly the same for drugs. I would say it'd be exactly the same. And if you see how neighborhoods, families, cities were ravaged through the crack era, it's like it can take over and sweep. And I think it was very similar. But you see some tribes that really heavily participated in slavery. They are not rich nations. It's not Dubai there. There was no winners. They didn't win, but absolutely Africans participated to try and save.
Oh no, they definitely won. They definitely won. But keep talking. I'm gonna throw all this in there.
Their villages, their empires, their states, and it didn't work.
And that's the part where I was
really learning from history in this. We should learn that they come along and they feed us shit and
divide and conquer. That is divide and conquer.
That's
the very early days.
Yeah, that's all. That's what I'd love for when people say that, because it happened to us in the UK as well. When people say that, I'm like, I don't want to ever sound like I'm excusing it, but also there's an element of like, we're humans. I always say
this is definitely excusing it, because aren't white people humans? Indians, everybody's humans, but everybody get called on, and everybody is expected to be held accountable to any inhumane action. So, I mean, anybody can deflect to that.
Want to know what Black people would be without enslavement and slavery and in colonization. Who would we be truly? Because at the moment we're our master's image. Whatever the case is, it's
all right, cool. Let me get that right there. Okay. Okay. Cool. Use some hateful tethers right here. 2839. Very similar. Okay. Right. So I got that. All right. The more results in a second.
We've been distorted. Who we are, even when we romanticize, say we were kings and queens.
Family, go ahead and let me check out the likes. Let's see where the likes are at. Peace, LaRonda Hicks, SJ. I'm gonna give Lenny a shout out in a second. All right, the likes are getting better.
Who were we?
Universal Law says Mediterranean food is soul food times 8. He said Mediterranean food is soul food salute times 8. CRU reality. Matter of fact, let's do a lineage roll call now. So still tripping, 5100. CRU Reality in the building. Yeah. Sierra, I don't know if Universe was trolling, but she built Journal in the building. We got SG 200. We got Tashid in the building. Salute Bay, peace. Yeah, they're definitely haters. Shadow 1SD, Southern Breeze, Ricardo Flott. We got First Class Citizen. We have Go Gadget, Go, Inspector Gadget in the building. We got Mr. Easy MS. There is a thing. Okay, you said that. I give you a lineage wrench. I already gave you one. Yeah. We have My Life Been Changed, FBA in the building, Mad Dog Williams. We got Maxwell Jenkins in the building. We have who else? We got Bantu Medinka in the building. We got some haters, in silence watching, hoping I slip up so they can ask for the link to try to cook me. Not gonna happen. Culture Media TV in the building. All right, let's go.
Truly and truly, our personalities have been so damaged by what happened to us that I don't even know. I could say human to human. I might be like, yeah, fuck you, get gone, because that's human nature. Humans aren't great right now, whether we were supposed to be ever or not. We're not always great to our neighbor. So then, yeah,
we are not. We are as bad. But I'm trying to illustrate that when a trade comes along, people think you are going to be virtuous, like, I'm not going to participate. But when they brought the drugs into the community, they weren't thinking about their neighbors who are now cracked out on the street. That's the thing. It's like humans.
So they're still going on with that. All right. So let's get rid of that hate. All right. So core errors in analogy, category error, institution versus street crime. The transatlantic slave trade built a state-sanctioned, hereditary, racial caste system, chattel slavery, that converted human beings into property for life and for their descendants. Street-level drug dealing, awful as it was, does not legally erase personhood, hereditary status, or civil capacity. You can't equate a centuries-long global institution with a late 20th century illicit market. Sovereign complicity versus some bad actors. The Atlantic system was backed by European crowns, parliaments, admiralty courts, insurers, charter companies, colonial assemblies, militias, churches, and later U.S. law. It created a oceanic supply chain, factory, forts, bills, or lading, marine insurance, plantation credit that required continuous human intake. U.S. inner city drug markets did not have that kind of formal interstate legally protected agriculture. Right. Just finish cooking. I'm gonna send AI on them. I don't in fact wasting my time, wasting one brain cell. Intent and knowledge. Planters, ship captains, and financiers knew exactly what plantations required forced labor by terror, branding sale of children, and denial of marriage and legal. Wait. I want to get to the crack analogy. Okay. Okay. So let's get down. When she tried to say, they didn't know what awaited. Coastal forts, march routes lined with bones, mass non-return, and local oral histories made the stakes visible. Even those who misjudged the exact conditions knew the captive's fate was not ordinary servitude. So this is the argument. They say they didn't know what awaited. Okay. What else? Okay, so it says it was permanent expatriation under foreign power. So they knew they were not coming back. Over decades and centuries, ignorance is not a defensible blanket. Oh, no one won. It didn't even make them rich. Her argument was no one won. The slave trade. Many collaborators did profit locally and in the short term guns, cloth, alcohol, prestige. The point is not whether they became Du Bois right afterwards. It's that short-term private gains helped fuel a machine that produced mass generational catastrophic for millions, catastrophe for millions, which did it end up rich. Is not an ethical defense. You fumble the bag. That's all. Why the crack comparison fails, even on its own terms. Different scale and permanence. Crack harms are severe but not legally hereditary or racially codified. Different architecture. Chattel slavery was lawful, insured, financed, and military. All right. Anyway, the crack analogy is stupid. Yes, some African elites and brokers participated. Many others resisted, but equating that participation with the crack era to flatten culpability or diminish the singular nature of Atlantic chattel slavery is bad history and worse logic. It confuses a demand-driven imperial institution with a criminal retail market, ignores law, finance, and hereditary, and tries to convert exploitation to exoneration. They said worse. All right, hold on. Because I worded it where they was comparing it more to chattel slavery. I didn't like that. I wanted to just keep to African selling. All right, hold on. I wanted to just focus. I didn't want to go to chattel slavery.
Are humans. I'm not making any excuses. We're all flawed. But when you can see history, when you have the markers of history to see, actually, it's not like these Africans over there were extraordinarily bad. Humans can do bad things to each other.
But
and
also,
that's how can we be better and unite more? It's like it's very easy to point fingers and blame, but actually, who was able to build a whole superpower structure off of black bodies? It wasn't other black nations. It was actually white people. So it's like we're fighting amongst ourselves here, and people literally pointing fingers. And it's like, dudes, who was making money? Who is still being pillaged now? Africa and the Caribbean is still being pillaged now. So what are we going to do about it?
But why? I think why is in the comments saying like, stop making excuses. Human and drugs are different. They sold a person. What would you do? Why? Your name is Why. Why? What would you have done in that
call
moment?
in Why, if you want to call in and chat.
Call us. Let's talk because it's not. Yeah, call in and chat. If guys in the comments, give us a call. There's a number here. Join and share your voice on air. Remember, hey aunties, I went to the comments to say how it's like. When you're trying to defend your go on.
I was just going to say, can we start going back to the comments because this is turning into a bit of news and nonsense. So
I mean,
these stink, disgusting African booty scratchers are really trying to compare the crack epidemic to selling family. The Africans who sold us. These were the leaders. These weren't like a criminal, like low key, street dwellers, bums, losers, degenerates, high school dropouts and, kicked to the side. No. These African leaders were the leaders of tribes. Okay. They called the shots. Everybody listened to them, bow down. They control armies and not the local crack dealer who had no influence, ain't run the city, ain't tell people how to vote. No control, like the street, low level street control. That's it. All right, so I want to get back to it because the analogy that it was comparing chattel. It was comparing plantation slavery. I mean, white people with the crack epidemic. I ain't like that because that's not what I wanted. I wanted their analogy. They were comparing Africans selling us to crack selling. Okay, so I want to stick to just that. All right, so I put that back in there. Let's see what we got. All right, I don't care about Europeans because they didn't. During the plantation, only this. Okay. So why the analogy fails? Africa only lens. That's what I want. External buyer power versus internal street market. Slave exports, a cross-continental export, marketed driven by foreign ships, foreign capital, and foreign demand. Pricing, volumes, and schedules were set at the coast by Europeans with guns, goods, credit, and naval protection. Crack sales. Look at the difference. A local retail market inside the same community. Even if you argue state complicity, the buyers and sellers are largely co-resident. The demand is not an overseas cartel with warships dictating terms to village governments. Debate line. You're comparing a foreign export machine that set the rules at gunpoint to a local street market that applies to artillery. Okay. Permanent removal from polity versus local harm. Still awful, but different. Captive export from Africa meant permanent extraction. People are marched to the coast, sold to foreigners, and never returned. That's not just damage, it's erasing bodies from the demographic, military, and reproductive base of African societies. Crack destroys lives, yes, but it doesn't physically remove the population to another continent. The polity can, at least in principle, recover its own people, right? People did recover from that. So debate line, crack ruins neighborhoods, the Atlantic exports empty them. That's funny. Crack ruin neighborhoods, but Atlanta exports empty the neighborhoods. Okay. Statecraft versus hustling. African sales to Europeans often involve courts, chiefs, brokers, militias, and custom fields. Make sure I'm not muted. Custom officials. They require custom officials. In many regions, judicial enslavement, kidnapping rings, and debt pawns abuse fed the trade. That is political economy, not just some bad guys. Crack, criminal entrepreneurship. Without formal sovereign sanction, no royal charters, no coastal force, no admiralty insurance. Debate line. One is political economy under foreign leverage. The other is criminal retail, not the same class of phenomenon. We sold enemies, not our own, is a dodge. This is what they said. We sold enemies, not our own. But since we were sold, wouldn't we be the enemies? So how are we, that's weird. Like we were the enemies. Why are we friends now? So early on, many captives were war prisoners from other polities, but demand outstripped traditional war norms, creating manufactured changes and corrupt courts, kidnapping, panyarding, debt traps, pawn ship abuses. Once the foreign market paid guns and fresh these goods for bodies, incentives warped. Not our village still means our region was stripped. Deadline, calling them enemies does not change. I'm sorry, calling us enemies. Hold on, on ice. I don't know if you can hit ice in the background. Let me just pause for a second. Okay, so anyway, I think I can hear me over that. So calling us enemies does not cleanse kidnapping, trumped up rulings, and debt enslavement that the trade incentivized. Watch this part. They didn't know the fate doesn't hold across centuries. Coastal barracoons, it's funny, coastal barracoons forced marches, the non-return of the exported, and countless oral accounts made the stakes plain over time. Even as some underestimated the exact horrors, they knew it was permanent foreign bondage, not seasonal servitude. After decades of no one returning, we didn't know is it a blanket defense? Right. After decades of no returning, we didn't know, is it a blanket defense? But that's tether logic. Survival of the state is explanation, not exoneration. Saying some elite sold captives to save the polity is the classic collaborator's rationale. It explains choices under pressure from foreign guns and goods. It doesn't make them morally neutral, especially as it multiplied raids, sparked arms races, and destabilized neighborhoods. A survival plea is a motive, not a moral clearance. Scale, duration, and feedback loops. Centuries of trade created guns for people, cycles, more exports, more guns, more raids, more exports. That structurally reshaped politics and war and slave sourcing zones. Crack waves are devastating, but don't militarize entire regions via foreign gun imports in exchange for human beings. Only one of these created a regional war economy whose currency was human bodies. No one got Dubai rich anyway. It's irrelevant. So this is their thing. So they want to dismiss our experience by saying no one got rich. No one got a Dubai. So Africa didn't end up being Dubai rich. So it's irrelevant. The fact that collaborators didn't end up as global plutocrats isn't a moral defense. Short term. Nicely why I figure out. Busy work. Okay. And my boy had this pulled up. So short-term private gains. Wait, that messed me up. I'm like low key, but somebody found me anyway. No one got Dubai rich anyway. It's irrelevant. The fact that collaborators didn't end up as a global plutocrats isn't a moral defense. Short-term private gains, guns, cloth, alcohol, prestige, still fed a machine extracting millions of people. Outcome, envy is not an ethic. All right. Envy is not an ethnic. I'm sorry. I said envy is not an ethic. Debate line. Not becoming Dubai doesn't undo what you sold to get the guns. Right. Yeah. Look, that's like a drug dealer who risked his life, right, to sell hella drugs, hundreds of pounds of drugs to get rich and didn't get rich. Like, let's say he got money and got robbed himself, but then got locked up and indicted for what he had earlier. You can't tell the feds, FBI, well, I didn't get rich like as I thought I would be. So the drugs, give me a break. That's not how that happens. So we got missing half the record, African resistance. The analogy erases the many African rulers, clergy, and communities resisted exports, banning sales, freeing captives, attacking force, or pleading to stop the trade. Collaboration was varied. It was not the only African position. Africa wasn't a single choice. Okay. There was a resistance all along. Your analogy silences them. So this is just, y'all can replay this. I'm not gonna read all this right here. It's a simple table for quick shows. Okay. So now let's go to the quick counters. The crazy talking points. So quick counters you can use on the exact claims from the thread. We sold enemies, not our own people. The trade quickly incentivized kidnapping and corrupt rulings beyond wartime norms. That's not a moral firewall. It was for survival. That explains collaboration under pressure. It doesn't excuse selling human beings to a foreign system you knew meant permanent removal. Okay, come on. They didn't know what awaited. Over decades, the non-return of captives, coastal prisons, and oral history made the outcome clear enough: extraction for life. It's like crack. We hurt ourselves too. Crack is horrific, but local. Slave exports were a foreign-driven extraction that emptied communities, militarized regions via the guns for people spiral. No one got rich. Look at those polities today. Short-term profits still fed the machine. Failing to become Dubai is not a moral defense. Right. Y'all fumbled the bag. That's your fault. Keeping it in Africa, the analogy collapses because it swaps a foreign leverage export system. I kept it in Africa. Keeping it in Africa. Keeping it in Africa. We don't want to know about plantations just yet. But we already know. Okay. Anyway, the analogy collapses because it swaps a foreign leverage export system with chiefs, courts, guns, and permanent removal for a local illicit retail market. motives like survival or we sold enemies explain choices. They do not make them ethically equivalent to neighborhoods selling drugs. The comparison is a rhetorical fog that blurs agency, structure, permanence, and scale, and it erases the many who resisted the trade, many Africans who resisted the trade. That's why I said, family, their rebuttals and excuses, it makes them more hateful. Just accept the L and say, yeah, we messed up. We shouldn't have did it. We apologize. Go that route. Family, they will not say it was a mistake. We shouldn't have done it. We're sorry. They will not say that. They'll rather make up 1,000 excuses to why they did what they did. And that just shows the hatred is on a different level. Anyway, let's talk about these let's talk about the Black Brits. Okay, so let's talk about this, family. Before I close this out, we got to talk about this. Okay, so the prime reason they call it Black Brits, but we know they're African. So I'm gonna say African Brits. The prime reason African Brits can more easily, because I asked the question, how the hell are they Black Brits? Like, this is common sense to me, family. How the hell are they proudly saying they're Black Brits, but they know they're Ghanaian and they know they're from West Africa? Like, they can pinpoint exactly where they're from. So I'm like, so they had to be recent. Okay. So the primary reason African Brits can more easily trace their ancestry to specific African countries is that revenue. You listening, revenue? The majority are recent immigrants or the children of recent immigrants. So family, this whole African Brit, they want to call Black Brit thing, this is new. They haven't been there for hundreds of years. So one more time. The majority are recent immigrants or the children of recent immigrants who arrived in the UK from Africa or the Caribbean after World War II. So what's that ship called? That ship called I always talk about? Shit. I talk about this a lot. Wow, that's crazy. They often have direct family knowledge and intact records, birth certificates, migration documents from their specific countries of origin. In contrast, most foundational Black Americans are descendants of ancestors who were enslaved and brought to the Americas centuries ago, from the 17th to the 19th century, through transatlantic slave trade. This history created an information vacuum that makes tracing specific African origins extremely difficult for several key reasons. All right. I don't care about all that. But the bottom line that I want you guys to see is that these so-called Black Brits, who are really African Brits, we're the only Black people, but these folks are new. So when revenue say, yeah, but the Brits over there call themselves Black, yeah, that's because they're new. They're implants. 1950s onward, buddy. So when they got there, so family, when they got to the UK, they were from Africa, or they knew. Let's say this: they knew they were from Africa, and they knew they were Ghanaian. They knew they were not Kenyan, Zimbabwean, South African. They knew they were Ghanaian coming into the country. They said most of those people were immigrants themselves or first gen. Yeah, they're out of here.
This is the comment show.
I understand that, but we've got a comment up. We haven't read it.
Read out the next one. Do you want to read out the next one?
So next live, sometime later today, I'm gonna play them going in on FBAs and Tariq Nasheed and like more hate. It's hilarious.
Yeah, not me. You, someone else read it out.
Go on, okay.
As a Nigerian American who has interacted with Black British people, I don't think you realize how much you disadvantage yourselves by constantly comparing yourselves to Black Americans. You're comparing yourselves to people who have been in their country for nearly 500 years. while the majority of you have only been in the UK for the last 50 to 60 years. Many
Wow,
of
they
you
just
are
pinpointed.
either immigrants or children of immigrants. They are not. They are American citizens with an established history and culture. Your constant comparisons to them limit your ability to form your own identity. Inserting yourselves into their politics and social issues is also a bit disrespectful because you don't fully understand the scope of what you're talking about. You see bits and pieces of their experiences online, but you don't understand their lived reality. Yet you constantly comment on things you know nothing about. I can understand why they get upset and why they push back, because y'all are often being disrespectful. Huge generalization.
Yeah, so they called it perfectly, what I just read. So somebody already said that. Like, yeah, y'all just got there. Y'all not there. That's not your homeland. You're not foundational nothing there.
In that comment, but go ahead. What do you guys think of that comment?
That was another very common thread where I was like, okay, they keep on saying this. I don't agree, but I wanted to explore what are we missing in this? If there is an angle that we're missing, what is it?
I mean, what I'm getting from a lot of these comments is don't chat about us, because, you know, like when we talk about white people and say that white people shouldn't be.
So they're not going to respond to nothing the commentator said. Hey, peace to my life, Miss wait, let me get your name right, because YouTube don't show the same thing, the whole thing. So my life been exchanged for yours, FBA. And let me read the super chat. He says, Africans are the house as take the chains off them. They have nowhere to go. Take the chains off FBA. We will just go home. This is my theory. We are not African. Peace, man. Salute. $10 super chat in the building. Just stinky.
Being to talk about black business. This is literally the version of that, but it's like, don't talk about American business because you're not American. You're not allowed to talk about American business. What she's saying about,
So they ignore the entire comments.
We're comparing ourselves to people who've been in their country for nearly 500 years, while you have only been there for 56 years. We already said that we're at the start of our journey. And if you went back nearly 500 years, they would be at the start of their journey, and it would be a melting pot of cultures and languages, and they would have to learn how to live and speak and be amongst each other whilst going through the terrible things that they went through. Okay, so there's that. And to say many of us are immigrants or children of immigrants, well, if you go back again, I'm going to keep saying it because it's true. If you go back again 500 years, they were all immigrants, or not even immigrants, my bad.
Wait, hold on. What did you just say?
If you go back again 500 years, they were all immigrants, or not even immigrants, my bad. They were enslaved people who were
Okay. So I'm gonna pick up from there. Hold on. Family, if that's not evidence of clear hate, I don't know what it is. Hold on. I want them to read that comment. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna go back to the comment, the next slide. Okay, cool. I got it here. So I'm gonna pick back up on the comments. So I want to say peace to everybody who's in the building, who liked the button, who super chatted and didn't get a chance to donate otherwise. Make sure you like the button, subscribe, notification bell. Definitely disrespectful. We're going to do a part 2 because the part 2 is going to involve them trying to get on FBA as a lineage and also Tariq Nasheed. Okay, so family, yeah, so thank you for those who super chatted donations. Appreciate that, respect. And if you didn't get a chance to donate, you could donate this way. Peace to the family. Love you guys, and we're out. We will be live a little later, part 2. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you're notified for part 2.
And our voices. Hey, haters gone, hate supporters done it. Haters gone, hate supporters done it. Support on your own, don't support one of them clones. I'm really one of them ones. I'm really in my they dumb. Cash app, $sign on box rhyme. Haters gone, hate supporters done it. Haters gone, hate supporters done it. Support me at home, don't support one of them clones. I'm really one of them ones. I'm really in my they dumb. Cash app, $sign on box rhyme. I'm really real one of them. I'm really him, I'm really out here standing on 10. Like and subscribe, thumbs up the video. I'm really real one of them. I'm really him, I'm really out here standing on 10. Like and subscribe, thumbs up the video. Haters gone, hate supporters done it. Haters gone, hate supporters done it. Support me at home, don't support one of them clones. I'm really one of them ones. I'm really in my they dumb. Cash app, $sign on box rhyme. Haters gone, hate supporters done it. Haters gone, support me at home. Don't support one of them clones. I'm really one of them ones. I'm really in my they dumb. Cash app, $sign on box rhyme. I'm really real one of them. I'm really him, I'm really out here standing on 10. Like and subscribe, thumbs up the video. I'm really real one of them. I'm really him, I'm really out here standing on 10. Like and subscribe, thumbs up the video. Haters gone, hate supporters done it. Haters gone, hate supporters done it. Support me at home, don't support one of them clones. I'm really one of them ones. I'm really him, but they dumb. Cash app, $sign on box rhyme. Haters gone, hate supporters done it. Haters gone, hate supporters done it. Support me at home, don't support one of them clones. I'm really one of them ones. I'm really him, but they dumb. Cash app, $sign on box rhyme. Please don't. Please support on it. I'm really one of them ones. I'm really him, but they dumb. Cash app, $sign on box rhyme. Cash app, $sign on box rhyme. Cash app, $sign on box rhyme. I'm really real one of them ones that they dumb. Thumbs up, subscribe, cash app, $sign on box rhyme.